Hello, welcome back to New York Talk, episode 171. I'm your host, Elyse DeLucci. We are in my bedroom today. My bedroom, because my building, they're doing elevator maintenance. And you could hear it all over my apartment, my living room, my kitchen, the hallway. And I was like, this is the only place I can get a little silence. So here we are. Anyway, right out of the gate, let me just address the fact I am sorry for stepping back from the podcast for a month. Our last recording, I think, aired maybe end of January, and now it's mid-March. I had a ton of stuff going on. I was traveling, which I'll give you a little, update on. And, here's the thing. The podcast, this is just like a labor of love for me. Like I said, I broadcast it from the house. I don't have sponsors. It's not like there's much structure to it. It's just me talking to you because I love to talk to you. And so, yeah, when you're not sort of held to a schedule, it could get a little crazy. Maybe I'll start to have more of a schedule. I've talked about it in the past, but life keeps lifing, and as the comic and the kid, okay. Anyway, so in February, I was in Jacksonville, Florida. Have you been? They have this thing called the Jacksonville Women's Network, which is a professional business network for people in the Jacksonville area, and they had their annual Jacksonville Women's Leadership Forum, and they had me come down there to close out a panel that they were doing. And it was myself, it was a girl that's over at Spelman College, and she's studying to be a doctor and an astronaut, and then another woman who's a oncologist who's at the Mayo Clinic, and and came from, I don't know if she came from Romania or something, but anyway, and then me, obviously, who was on Wall Street and transitioned careers to comedy. So the theme of the event was imagining the unimaginable, right? And like how we did this. And it was a great honor, and I was so happy to do it. And I gave this talk, and it was inspirational, and it was funny, and it was relatable, and everybody in the room was working executives and mothers and business people, or just people, just in the mix, women in Jacksonville, involved in the community. So it was an honor to be there. And if anybody is listening from that event or that area, thank you. It was so great. And, one of the things that I learned when I was there, or I took away with me, I should say, is no matter where we are, right? Like us women in the country, or men, no matter where we are located in whatever city, in the country, around the world, we're all like the same. We're all, and I don't mean the same as in people. I mean, we're all the same for the most part, in the sense of we all have a job, and we all want to strive to get better, and we all want to be inspired, and we all look to other people's stories to either entertain us or give us that inspiration, or other people's stories just to relate to. But we all, at the end of the day, we want the same things. We want to be successful. We want to provide for our families. We want to try to maybe move up or get promoted, or maybe make lateral moves outside of our industry, or whatever. And so it's really nice for me when I get the opportunity to go out on the road and do talks like this, because it's not stand-up, per se. I mean, it's funny because I'm a funny person and I'm a comedian, but it's more, they're business talks, and they're corporate talks, and it's great. It's really great. And I always love doing that. And I love talking to everybody. And by the way, I'm not saying, I'm somebody that, inspires other people. I'm just saying that they chose me to be there and talk about my story. And when I got off stage, I'm thinking any of these other girls in the room could have done the exact same thing, Anyway, so it was really wonderful. And then in March, I was over the JCC in Miami, and I did stand up there, and that was fabulous. It was a sold out show, and I'm just starting to do, headline dates. I've done some around, New York City, in the last couple of years, but people say, oh, when are we going to be able to see your show? And it takes a long time to craft a really good act. And and the thing is, for me, there's a lot of people on social media that have followings, and they just want to go out on the road and, sell tickets, and, and people buy them, people see them, because these are personalities that they've come to know and love, and they see every day, and they want to meet them and see what they have to say in person, right? But I'm not a social media personality. I was a stand-up comedian first. So for me, when I go out, even though a lot of you or people that I meet in the audience, they know me from online, I want to make sure I'm out giving people their money's worth. They're getting a show. They're getting tight stand-up. They're getting joke after joke after joke, that kind of thing. So it takes a long time, and I'm there. And I'm just starting that journey. So anyway, that's that. But I will say the fact of the day today is the Florida. Okay, so, I'm in Florida because, our people are there, right? And did you know Florida's name, the Spanish name of Florida is La Florida, and it means place of flowers. And so that's how Florida got its name, by the way. I didn't even know that. Someone told me that when I was in Jacksonville. They said, Elyse, there's like historians that think Ponce de Leon chose the name of Florida to honor the blooming flowers that he saw there. And I was like, really? And you're always fascinated when you hear these little tidbits of information. So just a little fact for you. In other news, Starbucks, I don't know about Starbucks by you, but I've come to learn that Starbucks in Manhattan, they've stopped their open bathroom policy. If you ever had to go really bad, and God forbid you find a public restroom these days. Well, one, God forbid you find a public restroom that's decent, but God forbid you find one at all. And, Starbucks, obviously you'd go in and you'd get the code and you could, do your business and leave. Now they stopped that. You have to buy something. It's like, why is everything so difficult? Why? I have no idea. And after that bathroom debacle, I wound up using the bathroom in Italy. And I was sauntering around the olive oil section, which I love to do. And I found this new olive oil. And I didn't buy it because I was on my way to do a spot. And it was called Grazia Drizzle or Graza Drizzle. Look it up. They call, so it's a green bottle. It's like a squeezy bottle, right? It's I don't know, maybe it's like 16 ounces, 12 ounces. And they say it's a finishing oil. So I'm assuming it's a light extra virgin olive oil that you would use for salads, or, maybe obviously if you, I don't know, have some rice, like some white rice, and you want to drizzle a little olive oil on it, and sprinkle a little salt before you eat it. By the way, that's the way Chris eats rice. I never put anything on rice, except when I'm in my Japanese phase. I put the Japanese seasoning on. Oh my God, wait, I'm just looking at my hair. It looks like oh God. I twirl my hair sometimes and it looks just crazy. Anyway, yeah, I eat white rice plain. I don't need any extra calories in the rice. Like, what are you kidding me right now? Except, like I said, when I'm in the Japanese phase, if you go into any Japanese supermarket, they sell beautiful seasonings for, on top of the rice. And, they make the rice in the rice cooker, and then they put these seasoning on, whether it's fish seasoning, I know, whether it's seaweed, whether it's like this plum seasoning, there's all different kinds. In fact, my hairdresser, Kumiko, who has the same first name as my ex-sister-in-law, I'll have you know, when Kumi, the hairdresser, went to Japan, she brought me back a little pack of Japanese rice seasoning. So nice. Of course, never going to anybody else. Like, she knows how to keep her customers. But Chris, when he eats rice, we can't eat it plain. He needs to put a little olive oil and a little salt on it. So I thought to myself, oh, this finishing oil must be nice. Because sometimes, if you ever put olive oil on something after you cook it, it sometimes has that like a heavy taste. It doesn't. Maybe because you had it in the olive oil thing, the container, near the stovetop all these months, and it got a little, funky tasting. Not funky bad that you can't use it, but funky like if you put it on top, finish something with it, it's not going to taste as good. I know you know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to whatever. Moving on. Okay, can we talk about this for a second? Can we talk about semaglutides, this Ozempic, all of that? Are you, because I'm losing it over here. I'm losing it. I have tried, as you know, a zillion diets. The problem with me dieting is well, let me say this. My mother, growing up, was always very obsessed with her weight. She was on every single diet known to man. And I never had to worry about my weight. I was always thin. I was lanky. I literally did not care. Even in my 20s, it was whatever. I mean, maybe in my 20s, if I had friends that were complaining about, a little pinch of fat here, maybe I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go on a diet and lose, an ounce. But I was always, I don't know, 130 and happy to be that. And then I had kids. And sorry, I had to take a sip of my coffee. Of course, that changes everything. And who knows, maybe I'm in perimenopause for all I know, because I gain weight. I can't get it off. I'm fluctuating size, and I'm desperate. And so all these girls, my friends, they're on God knows what, all the Ozempics, all the Wegovys, all these things, and they're looking good. Okay, so semaglutide, tryeden.com, not an ad, not a sponsor. Full disclosure, ordered their semaglutide gummies because if I'm going to go on a diet and take something, I may as well do it in candy form. Isn't that pathetic? Obviously, they have the shots, but I'm a widow baby. I'm too squeamish. I don't want to stab myself in the thigh or in the stomach with a shot. So I'm trying these gummies, and basically what they are, you can order a 3-month supply, which is what I did, and you take one gummy in the morning and you put it under your tongue, let it dissolve, and it's supposed to curb your appetite for hours. This works for me up until, I would say, 2 o'clock. There was a placebo effect, I think, in the very beginning. I was like, I'm never hungry. I literally wasn't eating till 7 o'clock at night. And now that it's set in, it's working till 1, 2 o'clock. Someone asked me if there's side effects. I haven't really had any, knock on wood, which is the wood thing covering my radiator. But, the first month they start you on a low dosage, and then the second month, you go up. When I was up in dosage on the second month, my stomach did hurt a bit, but that dissipated after a couple days. So, so far so good. I lost a couple of pounds, but nothing outrageous. Like everything else, of course, you have to exercise and eat well. And I think for the last couple weeks, I've slipped a bit. Full disclosure, slipped a bit, thinking, all right, I'm hungry for pizza. I'm doing that, and so that's made it a little tricky. A friend of mine said, just do the injections. Just do the injections. It's once a week. It's really not that bad, and it works a lot better than the oral semaglutide. So maybe I will try that after I'm done with this. Chris doesn't know, and so if anybody's listening that knows him, which I know that is the case, listen, if he finds out, good. I tell him, I say, I'm gonna do Ozempic. He's like, why would you put that crap in your body? And I'm just like, it's not crap. I'm like, well, maybe it's crap. There has really not been any scientific, we haven't done it. We haven't had it long enough to know where we're going with this. But the problem is with women and weight is, when you're desperate, you're desperate. Has anybody seen Jim Gaffigan lately? I mean, he's doing that Monjaro or Monjanero, or what is this? Of course, I think it's Monjaro. And of course, I'm taking that Monjaro and turning it into a Monjanero. He looks fabulous. I see him at Gotham all the time. And the guy must have lost 50 pounds, 40 pounds. I mean, he looks wonderful. I mean, to be honest, he looks so good and so different that a part of me misses him when he's a little chubby. Speaking of Jim Gaffigan, he's friends with Cardinal Dolan. And did you see those pictures? I posted them on my Instagram. I was asked to host this Frankie Campbell had their 125th anniversary or something, funeral parlor in the Upper East Side, famous. Everybody who's anybody has been waked there. Literally, just Google it. Every single person, every single famous politician, a lot of mobsters, a lot of people waked there. And I love this place. First of all, it's very glamorous on the outside. And, and when there's a big wake, funeral thing, all the black cars are on Madison Avenue. It's just a very, it's weird that one of my favorite businesses in New York is a funeral parlor, but whatever. And the guy who's the president is such a doll, and he's part of the Madison Avenue Business Network, so he has all these ties with all the business. Anyway, he's a doll, and he asked me to host this thing, and Cardinal Dolan was going to be there, along with a lot of other faith leaders from the area, from the big churches and temples, including, I think it's Rabbi Joshua Davison at Temple Emmanuel. He's gorgeous, but, anyway. And I didn't even get a picture with him, which was annoying. But Cardinal Dolan was so sweet, and he was so sweet to me. We took pics, and I posted it a while ago. He said, he was calling me Joan Rivers. He was saying, you're like the next Joan Rivers. I mean, what a compliment. And yeah, it was great. And I was just hosting this ceremony, but, and there was a script, of course, of bringing the people up, but I was able to be myself, and I was able to be funny, and it was just wonderful. And he is a doll. And, what made me really realize, let me say this, which I didn't think about before, because my aunt came from Connecticut, my auntie, because she's one, a holy roller, but two, she's very supportive of everything I do. So she's like, I'm coming. And I'm like, yay. So all of these faith leaders, from, the priests to the reverends to the rabbis to Cardinal, they're performers. They are entertainers. You don't really think it. You don't think it because maybe they're doing a gospel, maybe they're reading out of a Bible, maybe they're reading out of the Torah, whatever they're doing. But they are up on a stage or a podium, and they are reading to people, performing. They have to make it engaging. Their voice has to change in octaves. They have to, they talk about current events. They have to, make, what do you call it? Metaphors and stuff. So they have their job is, of course, to represent the faith, or be that one of these high-ranking words of the Lord sort of thing. But they have to translate it to their congregation. And that was one of the most fabulous things that I got to see. I was sitting in the front row, and every time I went up and I presented, I went back and took my seat, and I was introducing these various faith leaders, and they would go up and they would, do their spiel for 3-5 minutes, and each one was more interesting than the next. They all, I mean, they just all had this quality about them that made me want to listen. Like, even if they were reading Hamlet, I would be like, I'm in. Like, I'm sold. When is the encore? Like, you know, you know, it was interesting because you don't really think about, you know, people, you know, the priests and rabbis and reverends as performers, but they are, and it was great. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see, and it almost made me think, like, how interesting would it be if there was some, I mean, this is going to sound crazy. How interesting would it be if there was a reality show that showed how these various heads of their organization, how they like how they prepare themselves for those kind of roles, like, right? So they go, so, you know, these people, they go to theology school, right? They go to university, they study theology. They obviously go on to what is it, seminary school, all this kind of stuff. And but what happens if they don't have a good public presence? You know, I mean, what if they're just into the words of the lords, whatever lords they have? I don't know. I mean, right? Like, it's just so, did they take acting classes? Like, I mean, like, do they have a coach? Like, how does this work? Do they have to take a beta blocker because they get social anxiety? They have fear of public speaking? Or do these people all go into this I was gonna say this business. Do these people all go into this thing because they're great speakers, and they're so passionate, and they're the word of God, or whatever. I don't even know what to call them. We're saying the word of God, word of the Lord. Anyway, I'm moving on. So, you know, I've just been having the worst time trying to dress cool, and isn't that just the saddest thing you've ever heard? I genuinely feel that I'm so cool. I am so cool. I used to shop at Trash and Vaudeville and Canal Jeans, and, you know, every thrift store everywhere. By the way, those are like iconic New York stores. I was able to put together the most coolest of cool outfits when I was young, and I don't know if it's mom bods. I don't know if it's that there's no good stores anymore, or everything's just so blah. I find myself wearing the same freaking thing on stage. Jeans and a black top, you know, maybe in a denim jacket. And by the way, I'm talking about when I do spots around the city. When I do shows, I'm jazzed up. But I want to wear different things, and I've been on this hunt for, like, cool jeans, and the ones I've been wearing now, and I don't know if I told you this before, it's Good American, Good Straight. So, you know, if you go on the Good American website, of course, not an ad, but if you go on the Good American website, there's so many. Good legs, good straight, good crop, the ones that I've found work for me. Good straight, they're stretch, they, sometimes they have like an ankle length, sometimes they have like a full length. I've been wearing the ankle length ones, and they're cute. They're very cute. They're cute, and they're affordable for jeans. Like, you know, they're $100. And, you know, I mean, you're going to spend whatever you're going to spend. My mother's like, I can't remember what the brand was. What was the brand she was telling me? Something with a D. Not your daughter's jeans. Something with a D that you can get at Nordstrom Rack, and TJ Maxx. What was that brand? Damn it. But she was like, go buy Democracy jeans. Those are the best. I'm like, Ma, like, as much as, like, I want to take your recommendation for denim, I can't, because I have a different purpose for them. I'm not wearing them just because I'm going to ShopRite. I'm wearing them because I'm on stage, and I need to move, and they need to fit and hug and, you know, be flexible, and also, like, look good. I can't have thigh situation. I can't have camel toe. I can't have that back. Oh God, you know, when that back is loose, that very top is loose, but like the butt is tight. I can't have any of that. But, my mother finds something, she thinks it's the best, and she's trying to parade it around. I'm just like, Ma, please, this is when I need to get off the group text, right? Like, this is when you're just like, whatever. Have anybody been taking mushroom tea? Have you been doing this mushroom tea? I bought a mushroom tea from Amazon. It was the brand, the Republic of Tea, comes in a can. Cute packaging, $16. Expensive, aka. And they have this Reishi mushroom, and cocoa tea. It actually doesn't taste bad at all. It tastes like a chocolate tea. So, but the point of it is supposed to relax you. If you wanted something sweet at night, I think that having a cocoa tea isn't like so terrible. And like I said, and it's supposed to give you relaxation, herbal, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that works. I don't think it works. And I've been drinking chamomile, but people say St. John's wort is good for sleep. I have it written down. Lemon balm tea is good for improving your moods. Green tea, obviously, for everything. And ashwagandha, or however you pronounce that, has a calming effect. I will say the ashwagandha, whatever, I apologize. So déclassé of me that I refused to look that up or something before the episode. But that has worked for me in the past. I do have that. And I will say green tea, when I'm trying to lose weight, non-decaf green tea, especially like the air quotes real green tea, like Itoen, and what is Yamamoto. If you could find it again on Amazon, but also Japanese supermarket. That tea, I swear to God, if I drink like 3 or 4 cups of that a day, it doesn't make me wired, and I feel like it actually helps me lose weight. I swear. Okay? So, I want to get a new pocketbook, right? And I want to get a leather pocketbook. And I was kind of trolling through Reddit, and you're never going to believe what I found. So a bunch of people were talking. Someone said, I want to go to Paris, and I want to buy like a really cool bag that's not like Louis Vuitton or Celine. I don't want to spend tons of money. And also all these girls were writing, and guys were writing recommendations. They were recommending brands, Longchamp, but you could buy them here. Lancaster, which is you could sometimes find here, but the website has a lot of nice stuff. Lancel, which I think I've seen a couple times at Century back in the day when Century was good. And so I went on that website, and then someone recommended this store. Wait, where is it? BlueLemonParis.com. Blue Lemon Paris. I went on the website last night, like literally, and they had the cutest pocketbooks. I found this one pocketbook, and it's like square. It's like the size of, it's kind of like the size, like almost like a rectangle marble notebook, a little bit shorter in height. And I don't know, it's like an embossed, I think it's like an embossed like crocodile or snakeskin kind of thing. Has like a nice thick leather strap, for a crossbody. Comes in a zillion colors. Has this hot blue color. It was like €95, and they ship to the US, and it's leather. And you know what? I am getting it. I said to myself last night, I said, I'm buying this for myself for Mother's Day. That's what I'm doing. It's gorgeous. I don't know what the shipping is, but I don't care. Even if it came out to $200, that's cheaper than I would find around in the city. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, forget about it. The prices of things are ridiculous. And yes, some people, they say to me, Elyse, you live in the city. You live on the Upper East Side. You obviously have an expensive life. You complain about money. Yeah, I do have an expensive life, and that's all the more reason why I need to shop for good prices. I mean, I live in a high cost of living environment, but I also work here. My ex and I, we have to live in Manhattan. We have to live close by each other until the children are 18 or something. And to be honest, I really hope we always live near each other, because I don't know. I've known the guy for like over 2 decades. I mean, what am I going to do? yeah, so that's all the more reason. So anyway, check it out. I wrote down Blue Lemon Paris, and I'm all over that. And I swear I'm going to get this bag. I'm going to wear it. You're going to see it on Instagram, and you can be like, where'd you get it? And I'm going to say, refer back to episode 171. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, so May 1st, I want to plug myself. I'm at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida. Come, tell your friends, tell your family. I am not a dirty comic, family friendly. I drop a little bombs here and there, F-bombs, but whatever. It's a comedy club. It's a night show. But Off the Hook, Naples, Florida, May 1st. It's Off the Hook, by the way, is owned by a guy. This guy, I forget his name, but he's also a commercial fisherman. So the food's really good at the place. So, it's almost like a dinner theater. So that's nice. Product of the week is Aquafor. So here's the funny thing. Someone asked me, people ask me what lipstick do I wear, and I tell them, I wear all different kinds, but a lot of times I just wear what I could find, and a lot of times that's like lip liner and chapstick. And if I don't have chapstick on me, I'll put Aquafor like on my lips, right? But what I really use Aquafor for, well, besides like everything, what I really use it for these days is if my hands are really dry at night, I put it on. And even though it's like greasy, yes, I don't care. I put it on. I don't put on too much, but I also put it on my face, which is crazy. I know. Now listen, I have oily skin. I break out. I have rosacea. not all the time, but Aquafor keeps my skin so nice. And it's like $10 for a giant tub. And if I don't have any Aquafor, I use Vaseline. I know. You're probably like, is she crazy? Like putting all that shit on her face? It works. Google it. I don't even have the benefits. It's not like it even like really moisturizes your skin. So it's not so much that it moisturizes. It keeps the moisture in. So I'll put lotion, on my face, wash my face, put lotion on my face, and then I'll put this on right before I go to bed. And sometimes, if I feel like it's really sticky, I put like a towel down and I sleep on it because it's what you got to do. That's the cost of beauty. Anyway, quote of the day. If you have happiness, you can't think about how long it's going to last. You just have to think, how does it feel, and live in the moment. So hard, but that's what we have to do. Anyway, don't worry. This podcast isn't going anywhere. This is episode 171. I'm Elyse DeLucci, and this is New York Talk, and I love to love you.